The Apple Vision Pro versus Meta Quest 3 question is not what it seems, because you have to start this comparison of the best VR AR mixed reality headset question starting with the price. $3,499 versus $499. We obviously know which one is better, but is spending $3,000 more on a headset actually worth it? There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot of comparisons to be made. Is the Apple Vision Pro that much better than the Meta Quest 3? Well, let's find out. So the first thing that you immediately notice on both devices is that the Apple Vision Pro, the way that you navigate through the UI is with your eyes and with your hands. You look at an app, you pinch, and it just opens. It feels like magic. When you're scrolling through the web, you just grab your fingers and feel like you're painting in the air. If you want to zoom, you just do like this, and you just look at things, and it kind of feels like the Apple Vision Pro is reading your mind on how good it actually is. Instead, with the Meta Quest 3, you have two physical remotes on your left and on your right hand. You basically point at things with the remote, which is extremely accurate, and you press a button and it works. But Nikias, you can navigate with the Meta Quest 3 with your hands and with your fingers now. I've tried it. It's not good. I'd rather use the Meta Quest 3 with the actual remotes. The experience is so much better. It does not work very well with your hands, which means that you can do normal life with Apple Vision Pro. You can walk through your home with the headset on and still work, still be productive. With the Meta Quest 3, since you always need the remotes with you, it stops you from being productive, because maybe the concept of the Meta Quest 3 is not a productivity device. More onto that later. Now, if we take a look on the design on both devices, we see a clear winner in terms of how premium, obviously, the Apple Vision Pro is. Aluminum, glass, it feels premium. I mean, it feels like a luxury product. And once you wear it, you feel how premium everything is. Every single detail has been carefully crafted. You really see that. With the Meta Quest 3, you've got a more plasticky design that feels more of a toy. But guess what? I don't say that as a bad thing. And that's because Apple Vision Pro is heavy, pretty heavy compared to the Meta Quest 3. Since the Meta Quest 3 is made out of plastic, it makes you, as I said, it makes you treat it like a toy, which I like, because you don't gotta be as careful with the Apple Vision Pro. You spending $3,500 on a headset, you wanna put it inside of the case, you wanna take good care of it. The Apple Vision Pro case is massive. It's not really useful for traveling because it's so big. With this, you kind of just carefully just shove it in your backpack and you won't really feel like you're gonna break it. With the Apple Vision Pro, since you've got a glass front, you gotta be really careful with it, which makes me like the usability of design of the Meta Quest 3. And once you put the Meta Quest 3, it's so lightweight, which is good. But which one is more comfortable out of both? And I gotta say, even though the Meta Quest 3 is actually more lightweight than the Apple Vision Pro, I feel like the Apple Vision Pro does a better job at balancing the weight throughout all of your head. And the actual cushions, it feels very comfortable. They're very squishy, which makes it a very comfortable headset to use. I'm not saying that the Meta Quest 3 is uncomfortable. It's lightweight and you kind of forget that you're wearing it. But in terms of the light blocking, there's a lot of light that gets in the Meta Quest 3 when using it. Like when I'm wearing it right now, I can clearly see all of this light right here. And with the Apple Vision Pro, I'm totally sealed. I only see darkness, and then when I put on the pass-through, I see everything. So even though they look similar, they are very different in terms of design. Now, how are they like for gaming? So the refresh rate on the Apple Vision Pro can get up to 100 Hz. Instead, the Meta Quest 3, since it's more oriented for gaming, it refreshes at 120 Hz. So in terms of refresh rate, Meta Quest 3 takes the win here. Let's talk battery, because Apple Vision Pro actually has a battery pack that you just put in your pocket. Instead, the Meta Quest 3, the battery is already inside, which means you don't get as much battery life. You'll probably get around an hour to 50 minutes on the Meta Quest 3 before it runs out. Instead, with the Apple Vision Pro, for me, it reaches 3 to 3.5 hours max, which is really good. So it depends on what you want. Do you want a battery pack and more battery, or do you want no battery pack and less less battery and you just will wear the battery in your head. Keep in mind that you can also plug in USB-C in both devices and you can have unlimited power. If you're working from home and you want to be using Apple Vision Pro for more than 3 hours, which is a lot of hours while working, you can still just plug yourself right in and you'll have unlimited power. Now, apps. Let's talk about the App Store. So since the Apple Vision Pro has just been launched, there's less than 1,000 apps available in the App Store, which there's a lot of really cool apps and a lot of really cool games available with it. But since the Meta Quest has been out for so long, the App Store is so rich of so many awesome games, and not only little games, like big flagship games, and there's games and experiences from Star Wars and SpongeBob and Marvel. There's so many games that you can buy, which are expensive. They're like $30 because they're actually full on really cool experiences. That makes me give this one to the Meta Quest 3 since there's so many apps. I'm jealous. Since I'm such a big Apple fan, I wish the App Store will become the way that it is on the Meta Quest 3. Also, I mean, if we talk about Netflix and YouTube, there's a YouTube app available on the Meta Quest 3, something that the Apple Vision Pro doesn't have, which sucks. Can't believe there's no YouTube app. YouTube, please release it very soon. And you've also got Netflix on this thing. So now in terms of getting work done, in terms of productivity, you can actually connect your Mac on both devices. The cool thing about the Apple Vision Pro though is that when you open your Mac, you're gonna get a little connect button that you literally just do like this, and you're immediately connected, and you're gonna have a beautiful 4K 120-inch display wherever you want. You get the same with the Meta Quest. It's a little bit different. You gotta download an app on the Mac, but it works. But the cool thing about Apple Vision Pro on your Mac is that you can actually open your Mac and you can actually open Vision OS apps, and you can actually use them together, and you can actually use the trackpad and your keyboard at the same time, and you can actually use your trackpad and it will go from Vision OS to Mac OS, and you can use both of them at the same time. So I'd have to give this one to the Apple Vision Pro since the experience is more seamless, obviously with the Apple ecosystem. The Apple Vision Pro does not work with PC, something that the Meta Quest 3 obviously does. Now, a very weak point about the Meta Quest 3 is travel mode, because there's no travel mode like the Apple Vision Pro. The Apple Vision Pro, when you're in an airplane, is probably one of the best experiences. I've actually made an entire video about this. Links are down below in the description if you want to see my experience on how it's like using an Apple Vision Pro at the airplane. It will just work. Your screens will actually stay there. Instead, the Meta Quest doesn't have a travel mode, so things just gotta go crazy and everything. It doesn't have a travel mode, so you can't watch movies while on the train and everything. It's a very poor experience. So in terms of the persona slash the character, Apple Vision Pro will get you a very realistic version of yourself. So if you want to do video calls and everything, it will literally act like yourself. Since there's so many sensors in you, what do you think of mine? Let me know in the comments. In my opinion, it actually looks a lot like me. And instead, the Meta Quest 3 will bring in like a cartoonish version of yourself that you can customize it all you want. To actually put myself with glasses and everything, it doesn't look like me, but I actually do like the cartoon version. I want you to decide which one you like better. I just think that they're different. I think for a proper video call, a serious video call, I prefer obviously having my Apple Vision Pro on instead of having like a funny character waving and everything. I don't think it looks as professional. And I also think we're at a point where I think even using Apple Vision Pro for a Zoom call might feel a little bit weird today's. I think I just rather show myself, my human version of myself now. But who knows, in the future, this will be the most normal thing ever to just have a business call with like our digital persona. In terms of security, here's where Apple Vision Pro truly shines, because you've actually got Optic ID, which means Touch ID on the iPhone, Face ID on the iPhone, Optic ID. Apple Vision Pro will actually read your eyes instead of typing in the password. Instead, you've just got a password, no Optic ID, nothing fancy, just put on a password. And then audio, both of them release really good audio. If you want to watch a movie or play games and everything, they both handle it very well. But Apple Vision Pro does support spatial audio, and you can hear things behind you and in front of you. It's a very immersive experience as well. So I definitely have to give Apple Vision Pro the winner there as well. Something that the Apple Vision Pro doesn't have is the ability for you to go in Meta's Metaverse. I've had a lot of fun. You know, I always love to goof around in real life, and goofing around in the Metaverse, I think is so funny. I think it's so fun. It's surrealistic. I feel like it's unreal that you can actually jump in a coffee shop and actually start talking to people that actually have a headset on their face as well. I feel like I have so much fun, and I wish Apple Vision Pro would have an app of this sort that you could just talk to strangers. It's so weirdly fun to me, and I love going to the metaverse and I've gone to concerts, I've gone to coffee shops, I've talked to so many random people and just talked life with them that I just find it fascinating. So the comparison so far has been pretty balanced, right? I feel like the Meta Quest is really good at some things and the Apple Vision Pro is good at some other things, but there's certain things that the balance is just kind of off. And that's where pass-through comes in, because pass-through on the Apple Vision Pro is so much superior. And for me, this is where the balance truly does like this. So far, the video was like this, the comparison was like this, but Apple Vision Pro just totally takes the win talking about pass-through, because when you put the Meta Quest on, pass-through is actually really good on both devices, but in terms of perspective, when you get close on objects, you get dizzy. I get dizzy because it kind of distorts reality, and when things just don't look the way that they should look, and just when walls are distorted, and just when your table is distorted, and just when you get things close to you and a book close to you, I personally get dizzy while using the Meta Quest 3. I can obviously just put on VR and I don't get as dizzy, but in terms of AR, it's just, for me, personally, not the best experience out there. And that's where Apple Vision Pro just shines for me. People can throw objects at me and I catch them in the air. I feel like I'm totally always in the moment in terms of camera quality as well. I feel like both of them aren't that great, but Apple Vision Pro doesn't suck. I feel like the Meta Quest quality of the cameras is just really not that good, and Apple Vision Pro can seriously be improved so much. You still think that you're inside of somewhere and it doesn't look like reality, but it's the closest as of right now in any headset out there. Pass-through on Apple Vision Pro is just very, very, very good. And I just hate to criticize the Meta Quest so much in here, but also with like VR, for example, I can confidently say that I can put a roller coaster video on the Apple Vision Pro and I do not get dizzy. I tried out so many apps in here and like probably 40% of them get me dizzy to the point that I have to stop using the Meta Quest 3. Well, Nikias, don't use the Meta Quest 3 for playing roller coaster videos. I know, but that tells you something. You know, I put on a roller coaster video this morning for me to try it out once again, and I got dizzy to the point that I was dizzy for the next hour, and that doesn't happen with the Apple Vision Pro. And something else that is just kind of obvious with the Apple Vision Pro is the Apple ecosystem. And I hate to say it on how obvious it sounds, but just the fact that I can connect my AirPods and they're instantly connected, just the fact that I have noise cancellation and all of my Apple Music Spatial, just the fact that I have iMessage, just the fact that I have FaceTime, just the fact that I have Apple TV Plus and Apple Music, just the fact that I have iCloud, just the fact that I have my photo library that I have on my iPhone. As soon as I shoot something on my iPhone, I can immediately see it on my Apple Vision Pro. I hate to say it, but the Apple ecosystem just being in here is just the main reason on why this is so much better than this. And once again, it's the pass-through for me, because I can be using Apple Vision Pro for hours and my eyes don't hurt. If I use the Meta Quest 3 for more than an hour, the battery doesn't even last that long, my eyes hurt. They really hurt. Edit an entire video on the Apple Vision Pro, you can do it, and your eyes don't hurt. If you want to edit a bunch of photography, can you do it on the Meta Quest 3? Yes, but your eyes will hurt while using this. At least that's been my experience. My eyes hurt, I get dizzy, and it doesn't make me want to work with this. But once again, $3,500 versus $500. I'm not gonna say that is the Apple Vision Pro worth it. I'm not gonna answer it in this video. That's a whole separate video. That's a whole separate topic. The Meta Quest 3 costs $500 and I understand the price. And I'm gonna say Apple Vision Pro costs $3,500 and I understand the price tag. Which one is better? You know it. Apple Vision Pro is obviously the best. If you wanna buy a headset for work, for productivity, for you to get stuff done, watch tons of movies, watch tons of entertainment, Apple Vision Pro is your go-to headset. I know it's a lot of money, but that's the pure answer. Who is the Meta Quest 3 for then? I think it's an amazing headset for gaming, and the app ecosystem here is amazing. And if you're not someone that gets as easily dizzy like me, it's an amazing headset, and I've had so much fun with it. I just don't recommend it for work. It's not a really good productivity machine. I think the metaverse and us being in digital spaces with random people or maybe with your colleagues and stuff, I think there is something very unique and something very special to that. I feel like the Meta Quest 3 for people who want to or interested or curious on how the Apple Vision Pro is like and don't want to spend $3,500, I absolutely, totally recommend the Meta Quest 3. Sure, you can't really use it with your hands because the experience, it's just not good, but the remotes are really, really good. And just the fact that you can't be doing other things while using this thing is a bad thing, but it also isn't. So that's my experience with both of them. If you've got the money, obviously go buy the Apple Vision Pro. If you can't afford it or you just don't want to spend that much ridiculous amount of money on it because you don't think it's not going to do enough for you, have fun with the Meta Quest 3. You're going to love it. If you want to see my experience with an airplane with the Apple Vision Pro, you can tap this video right here. You can subscribe right here, or more Apple Vision Pro. Why you need one. More reasons for you to get it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.